Hello and you're welcome to today's mathematics lesson, and our topic for today is going to be variation. So I'm going to discuss with you what variation is, the types of variation. So let's get started. So like I said, our topic for today is variation. And what is variation? Variation means change. The types of variation, there are three. We have direct, we have indirect, we have joint variation. Now let's look at the direct variation. If A varies directly as B, write an equation. So A varies as directly as B, so we just say A varies directly as B. So this is a variation sign. So if we remove the variation sign to replace it with an equal to sign so that it becomes an equation, we introduce a constant. We say A is equal to K, representing the constant, is equal to B. So this is how we write direct variation. So let's look at an example. We have, if y varies directly as the square of x and y is equal to 8 when x is equal to 4, find y when x is equal to 5. So y varies directly as the square of x, it means x squared. So to write an equation, we'll say y is equal to, we introduce a constant k, is equal to x squared. Now we should find the value of y when x is equal to 5. So what we are going to do is we are going to use the first information to find the constant. So our first information is y is equal to 8 and x is equal to 4. So we're going to use this information to find the constant. So we're going to say y is equal to kx squared. So y is equal to, y is 8. So we're going to say 8. We're going to say 8 is equal to k multiplied by 4 squared, because 4 squared, 4 is actually x, so it says x squared here, so 4 squared. So we have 8 is equal to 4 squared, that is going to be 16k. So you divide both sides by 16, you have divided by 16, divide by 16, so cancel. The value of k is 8 into 8, that is 1. 8 into 16 is 2, so it gives us half. So the value of k is half. Then we are going to come back and say, what is the value of, let me just try to use a different marker. What is the value of y when x is 5? So we are going to say y is equal to, constant is half, multiplied by 5 squared, which is going to be half, multiplied by 5 squared is 25. So this is the same as over 1. You do 1 times 25 is going to give you 25 over 2 times 1 is going to give you 2. So if this 2 does not go into 25 without leaving any remainder, you just leave it here. So that's it. This is how you find this problem. Okay, right, we go to the next example. So the next piece of example says, if y varies directly as the square root of x and y is equal to 4 when x is equal to 4, find y when x is equal to 9. So the first thing we're going to do is replace the variation sign with an equal to sign so that it becomes an equation. So we're going to say y is equal to, when you just introduce the equal to sign, you also introduce the constant, the square root of x. So this is an equation. So now we're going to say if y is 4, so we put 4 under y, and then k we don't know, we're trying to find k, is equal to the square root of x. Our x is 4. So we have 4 is equal to k. The square root of 4 is 2. So when we multiply, you have 4 is equal to 2 times k, you give us 2k, divide by 2, cancel the 2. Then the value of k is equal to 2 into 4, that is 2. So this is a constant. We should now find y when x is equal to 9. So say y is equal to the constant, because constant, which is 2, square root of x, which is 9. Then we are going to say 2 multiplied by the square root of 9, which is 3, So you multiply 2 times 3 will give us 6. So this is it. This is how you find the value of x. Right, so let's go to the next example. So the next example, we're going to now inverse variation. Not really the next example, but inverse variation. So inverse variation is when a quantity varies inversely as another quantity, then that quantity becomes the denominator. For example, if y varies inversely as the square of x, y varies inversely. So if it varies inversely, it's going to be 1 over the square of x, which is x squared. Again, to replace the variation sign with an equal to sign, we are going to introduce a constant and then x squared. So this is going to be the same as when you multiply k times 1 is just k over x squared. So this is how you come up with an equation for inverse variation. Right, so let's look at an example for inverse variation. If y varies inversely as the square of x and y is equal to 1 over 8 when x is equal to 4, find y when x is equal to 2. So our first step is going to be to find, first of all, the variation equation. So they are telling us y varies inversely as the square of x as 1 over x squared. So y is equal to k multiplied by 1 over x squared, which is equal to, simply k times 1 is k over x squared. So this is our equation. We now find the constant, the k. So we have been told that y is 1 over 8. So we say 1 over 8 is equal to the constant which we are trying to find over x is equal to 4, but it is being squared because it says x squared there. So 1 over 8 is equal to k over 16, and then we're just going to do cross multiplication. K times 8 is going to give us 8k is equal to 1 times 16 is going to give us 16 divided by 8 divided by 8. Then we cancel. The 8 and the 8 will cancel, so that we remain with k, which is going to be equal to how many times is 8 going to 16? It goes there twice. So this is the value of the constant. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and find the value of y when x is equal to 2. So y is equal to k. We know the value of k now because we are using k over x squared. So y is equal to, we replace, we just found k to be 2. So we do 2 over x. What's the value of our x? Our x is 2 squared. So this is going to be 2 over 4. 2 squared is 4. Then we are going to divide this. It will give us 1 over 2. So it's going to give us 1 over 2. So this is it. This is how you find the value of y. Okay, our last point is joint variation. So joint, from the word, as the word suggests, it means a combination of both direct variation and indirect variation. So for example, it depends on 2 or more variables, in short. So for example, we have v varies directly as pi, the square of r and h. So what this means is that v varies directly as pi, so it varies directly as pi, it varies directly as r squared, it varies directly as h, but it varies inversely. So the one that is inverse is going to be the denominator, like this. Okay, so to replace now this variation sign with an equal to sign is going to be v is equal to pi r squared h over 3. Now we introduce a constant also as we replace the variation sign. So this is the formula for volume. I'm sure you have come across this formula. It's for volume, but then we don't usually show k when you're calculating volume. Why? Because this k is always what? Is always 1. Okay, actually pi itself is a constant. and it's 3.142. That's our constant. We use pi for constant. All right, so let's look at an example. So an example, we have x varies as this directly as y and inversely as the square of z. So let's write a variation sign already on that one. So y varies directly as x varies directly as y, so it varies directly as y, and inversely, so over as z, like this. So x is equal to y over z. We introduce even a constant there. So now we should find the constant. So we use the first part of information to find the constant. So our x is 8 over 3 is equal to k multiplied by y. Y is 6 over z. Z is 3. We cross and multiply. We have 3 multiplied by, this is 6k. When you do 6 times k, it's 6k. Then we have 3 multiplied by 8, which is going to give us 24. So here we're going to get 18k is equal to 24. Then we divide by 18. We divide by 18. Cancel here, cancel there. Then we are going to divide. We are going to say 3 does go into 18. So we are going to do 3 into 18 is 6. 3 into 24. 3 into 24 gives us 8. So we have k is equal to 8 over 6. Now we can further simplify this one using 2. We can do 2 here, goes there 3 times. 2 there is 4 times. So we have 4 over 3. So this is our constant k. Then we are going to go back. Allow me to use a different color of a marker. All right, so we're going to go back and say we find x when y is equal to 12 and z is equal to 4. So x is given by y over z. So x will be equal to our value of, this is k of course, our value of k is 4 over 3 multiplied by y, which is 12. Okay, all this is over z, which is 4. So when we multiply here, we can do 3 here is 1. 3 into 12, that's 4. 4 times 4 is going to give us 16 over 4. Then how many times does 16 go? 4 go into 16, which is going to give us 4. So the answer is 4. So that's it. This is how you do variation. So I'll send some questions for you to just also try. Try your understanding on variation. So thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.